as you went to a very easy production like Star Trek Beyond, which had a script that, as I understand it, had to like. Did you guys like throw out? They wanted a new script at the last second.
I'll give you. So I'm shooting. I think it was True Detective in Ventura,
Right.
and this is a Thursday, and I get a call, and it's J.J. Abrams, and he said, "Hey man, just curious, do you like Star Trek?" And I said, "Oh man, that's like I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad. You know, it has so much meaning." And he said, "Would you happen to have an idea for a Star Trek movie?" And I said, "Aren't you guys in pre-production?" He goes, "No, we're shut down." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, if you have an idea, do you want to come by the office on Monday?"
Oh my God.
So this is Thursday and Monday, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what would be the ultimate Star Trek movie, you know? And I remember I went and had dinner with my parents, and like it brought back so many memories. And so on Monday, I went down and sat with JJ, and I kind of shared with him the idea for Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
And he's like, great. And this is end of January. And he said, let's do it. But we have to start production in June. No script, nothing. And he goes, have you met Doug Jung? Do you guys want to jump on a plane and go meet Simon in London? And just like that, we're flying to London. And it was tough. It was the toughest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
You know, that Simon and I and Doug, we joke about it now at the Soho Hotel because it was intense. I mean, I think I had quit 3 times and Simon had quit 4 times, and you know,
just under the gun. It was just impossible. Like, how can we actually execute this to the level we wanted to in these circumstances? It was
also we didn't know each other, you know, and
thrown together.
I think you know, for me, Simon Pegg is like, it was a dream to have the opportunity to work with him, but he comes from a very traditional process where like you write it, then you go, but I'm sitting there and there's in Vancouver, I have to start building sets.
Yeah,
Star Trek is not like Fast and Furious. Every idea that I come up with
it's gonna take 3 months to make.
Yeah, and we had no time. And so I was trying to like be supportive, and I feel like Doug was almost like the kid in the. I mean, he's just looking at us, going, "Oh!" And we're great friends. I'm. It's one of the best experiences, and Simon is a genius.
Yeah.
You know, I love Simon and Doug, but it was rough. That first, I didn't know if we were gonna make it out of that first week.
Because you have to basically, you're like, okay, what's the setting? We need to like get the production designers making, like, what kind of planet are we going to? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
like, first,
and it was weird because I came in with kind of a loose idea of what the movie is, and so I had to start committing to building stuff.
Wow.
But then I understand Simon's frustration too, you know, because he's like, wait a minute, I got to figure out how I'm gonna tell this story. I think it ended up being amazing.
And the movie's great. I mean, it's remarkably, considering everything you're saying to me. It doesn't feel like a lot of films can feel that. You can feel the chaos on the screen. You don't feel that with Beyond.
Oh no, thank you. And I give Doug and Simon so much credit because they had to, like, believe me, I come from the indie world where the script is king. Then you make these big budget where there's never a script, you know, and so. Simon was also doing Mission Impossible, and they got shut down. I think they're trying to figure out their 3rd act. So he was you know, I could empathize with what he was going through, you know, and also during the process, you know, he would act, and then we would get together on the weekend and write because, you know, by the time we got to Dubai, the 3rd act wasn't fully written yet, and I had to tell the production designer. I said, just give me a 360 green screen. And so we're writing as we were going.
Not to mention you also had this cast that I know that loved each other. These guys really.
Unbelievable cast.
But also, like, I feel like there was some, I mean, I don't know how true this was, that like Carl was having thoughts of like, maybe I'm done. Maybe I don't need to come back. Like, did you again have to kind of become like the peacemaker, kind of be like assuaged their worries that like, let's do this one more go around?
There was some stuff there.
Fair enough.
Look, at the end of the day, I was the new kid.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I had the same standing as like a Fast.
Yeah.
But I would say that that cast was unbelievable, and I think with Carl, I love working with him because he comes to set and he's like he 100% feels like it's Star Trek McCoy. I love that. I love that.
Everyone should feel that
And
way.
I would love, yeah. And I love that kind of like that sense of entitlement. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And I think that's what makes him so great to work with, but also you see it on screen,
Yeah,
you know,
it
you
is
see
amazing.
Bones.
Yeah.
And my dream was always to have Bones and Spock be together on their own thread. And so to be able to do that with him, you know, it really was kind of the McCoy movie. So
I love it. I love it.